What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode number 17. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Fantastic, and slowly trying to wind down right now.
you just spent 20 minutes complaining to me about various things in your day. Yeah, going great, having a great one.
And they were all legit complaints, not like the fake ones I make up sometimes to
no, actual thing. Yeah. You said coming down, like that is, I find when I have days like what you've told me about today, that it really is. It's like you have to like take the time to be like, it is like you're amped still. It takes a while to get down from that amped state for sure.
Yes, I'm definitely, probably, most likely going to talk extra fast for the beginning of this. So I'll actively try to slow myself down a little bit until I get back my Zen state with my low resting heartbeat or heart rate, whatever the hell it is.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's any fun other things to talk about. And I think we can just dive right into Kamen writing.
Let's just do that then.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited to talk about. So let's just do that. For the show this week, Toby, we watched Zeztz episode 17, and just to catch everyone up, last time around, we saw Nem got captured. She was the Little Red Riding Hood, and she's trapped inside of a nightmare who ate her. And we saw a big pivotal moment at the end: Zero getting destroyed by Nox in a very flashy explosion.
When they did the pre-show recap of last week, I must have blocked out what the Zero explosion looked like. So when I rewatched it and paid attention, it looks really good of how they threw the Zero body off of the balcony and just like crash into the ground. And it legit looks like they just actually grabbed the suit and just gunned it off the thing somehow.
Yep. Yeah, I watched that a couple times because I had the same thought of like, oh wow, they like legit just threw the suit, like maybe stuffed or something, over the balcony. That's awesome. Because you actually, I think, get to see it go all the way to the ground, and it's very ragdoll on the way down and stuff. It's a cool shot.
Yeah, you definitely see it hit the ground, and like it seems like there's enough impact with it where it wasn't just a fake CG Zero bot getting thrown. It looked like there was actual like heft and stuff.
Yeah, it looks real for sure. I think it literally is just the suit that they threw, which really is awesome. Like, why don't we see that more often? Just get some mannequins, dress them up like Kamen Riders, and start throwing them off cliffs. Throwing off cliffs. We'll turn this into Tekken. We'll find volcanoes and toss Kamen Riders into it. Let's do it. Because if you have the ability, you might as well start launching.
You might as well flaunt it.
So yeah, that was a very cool shot. And we were coming into this episode, wondering sort of what the fate of Zero was going to be. And we, I guess, continue to wonder, but certainly Zero in this form is utterly destroyed because Baku wakes up hearing a huge explosion, runs into the command closet, and he does find every piece of Zero scattered across the entire area. He looks as if a nuke went off inside of him.
Yeah, they did a really good job of like starting with the throw heard around the globe to the Zero scraps in the business office or the code office, whatever. Like it actually looked like a motorcycle blew up in there, and all the parts looked like very nicely smoked out and burnt how they should have, and like prop wise, they did an amazing job with that.
Yeah, they were all very weathered in a very appropriate way. And yeah, it's cool. And you can still, of course, tell that it's Zero because you see all the white and red panels and stuff.
And it's crazy. Like the absolute best part to me, even before like the explosion where they woke up and everything. So they're showing like Zeztz fighting the big bad wolf, doing crazy like pre-fight before the Zero explosion. For anyone watching this post, listening to this, and to you right now, if you start the episode at 50 seconds and watch the black oil drum that the wolf gets thrown into, you can see it collapse like rubber.
Yep.
And even when Zeztz pushes off it to stand back up, the whole thing just gives. Like,
I remember watching this and seeing this when I watched it for the first time, and it's awesome. It completely collapses under his weight, and then he pulls back, realizing that he's doing it, and then it snaps back into place.
yeah. But my favorite was just like, of all the things that I've ever noticed in this show, I don't think I ever remember a prop actually looking as fake as they obviously are until this time. And especially when he pushed his hand on it to stand up and just gave under his weight. I was like, this is the funniest goddamn thing.
No, see, it's just that when he's in his plasma form, he's so incredibly strong that merely brushing a metal drum will crumple it.
He made it like Insta Rust or whatever, like they usually have good electronic monsters do to metal things.
Exactly. Yeah, that was probably the most egregious of the this is clearly a fake prop that we've seen recently. The one that always sticks out to me, and we see it in Sentai a lot too, is the fake rocks, because a fake rock, when it's like the size of a basketball, never bounces the way that a real rock that size would. You know, it always like has a
It'll
bit too
just
much bounce
thud,
to it.
or it should just
Yeah,
thud.
exactly. And so those are always the ones that really, really stick out to me as very fake looking. This one I just found very funny. It was just like it was so fast that it didn't really ruin the shot, but like if you see it happening, it's like, oh, that's great.
Yep.
Minami runs in to see the wreckage as well. They both kind of are like taken aback, of course, at seeing their friend exploded. And Baku tries to call Zero, and Zero doesn't answer. So for sure, Zero seems to be out of commission here.
Well,
We even bring in our police friends, Fujimi and Nasuka, to come and investigate, and they don't really have too much else to say on that topic. It's like, yep, he's exploded for sure.
the Zero explosion and finding the parts in the office is the first that Baku knew what happened, right? Like we
I think
established
so.
last week, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fight all happened around him. And then this would have been the first that he realized, like, oh no, things are going bad.
Yeah, yeah. He's probably quickly putting it together, of course, what happened, but yeah, this is the first that he knew that Zero had lost and had been defeated and stuff. After this scene, we cut over and we check up on Nox, and Nox is visiting the lady and telling her that Zero's been destroyed, and he hands over Zero's memory unit. He tells her that should suffice. She's trying to find the code headquarters, and she can use the memory unit to track code down. While Nox is with her, she reads his mind and can tell that he's like tired of taking orders, which is what I theorized last week, was that he's kind of just doing this to get ahead for now, and he's not really like bought into the cause. It doesn't seem like. But it seems like she's also fine with that arrangement for right now.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome that like more so to him as the character than her reading him. Like Nox is just so over everybody's bullshit, it seems like. Like he doesn't really want to do any of these things. He's just kind of like involved until he gets his end result that I probably just no more code, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think his conversation with Baku later is a pretty clear indication of this, because he says the thing where it's like, you know, nightmares are just tools. They're not anything more, which is very like means to an end Nox attitude for sure.
Yeah.
And then of course, yeah, like he gives the big speech again to Baku of like, hey, if you're still on this mission, that means you're working with code, and if you're working with code, like you're gonna get taken down by me. So yeah, very much I think he's saying that like code's the only thing he cares about here, and whatever it takes to take code down, he'll do it.
Yeah, definitely at this point, like Nox is just doing Nox things, and that's all he really cares about. It means nothing more, nothing less than that. Like Nox is just on his plan. He doesn't probably, like we surmised a bunch of times, he definitely doesn't dislike Baku at all. He just dislikes Baku's job, and he's like, I just have no patience for this.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, I
like,
mean, we see it again this week that like he clearly like even respects Baku. Like, and it might be like an eye rolling type of like this kid type of respect, but like clearly, you know, is willing to protect him and give him advice and you know, stop fighting him when he thinks he's going to hurt him and stuff. So like, you know, has some sort of respect for Baku, but still is like, but if you side with the enemy, I'm coming for you, man.
Yeah, there's definitely been multiple times at this point where Nox is just completely lit up because he very nicely shows that like Baku is not his enemy, but like
Yeah.
he's just in the way to do things.
Yep, exactly. He's the representative. Baku and Minami next go and visit Nurse Haru. She's still talking about when Nem disappeared 4 years ago, and she's talking about, she's probably dead by now. It's been 4 years. Baku vehemently disagrees. Of course, he knows Dream Nem, and he's assured that she's still alive in real life because of that. Minami urges him to wait for orders from Code, but he, of course, doesn't think he has that time, and he has to kind of assert himself as the agent that he is. So I thought this episode was good for that reason. It really hammering home the point of like he's making the active decision to be his own agent instead of being a Code agent here.
Yeah, definitely at this point, especially I guess probably since the last Zero conversation, understanding with each other of like I'll vaguely listen to your rules, but I'm going to do the missions my way. I'm pretty sure you're using me, but we'll see. But he's definitely, like you said, he's his own person now. He just wants to be an actual hero.
Yeah.
Aside from the Code tie to it, kind of thing.
They start to leave the conversation with the nurse, and then she chases him down and tells them that she's been lying this whole time. Whoops. Really, instead of Nem just disappearing 4 years ago, she saw the lady in Nem's room. The lady was dressed up like a doctor named Sakurako Onogawa. And essentially, she mind tricked the nurse in order for the nurse to agree that the lady could take Nox away. So basically made her very agreeable, and it wasn't until it sounded like a long time afterwards the nurse realized, like, wait, why did I do that? That was kind of weird. So really we get to the bottom then of the nurse's regret that we were figuring out last week. Of course, the name that the lady gave them doesn't exist. They look her up. I made a note here that I really like. We get to see a clear page of the notes that Baku's sister took, and they're great. She like took very diligent notes about this woman. Yeah, and it was just very funny that she's like writing down everything she knows about her and like tracking down like, oh, there's no telling of a doctor of this name, and she's like crossing things out. And yeah,
it is cool.
I
like
love
how
she's getting into it. Yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say it's awesome how on the team she is. Like, I guess just to use last season, she's basically Sachika. I just feel like with a way more active role and not just like working around her friends. Like she's directly working with her brother at this point to let him be like the best dream superhero secret agent he could possibly be.
Yep, she's like into the show version of her, but like at the beginning of the show still, or like midpoint of the show. I'm loving that a lot, that she's this involved. Baku needs to use the bike, of course, to still get around. So he uses the recovery capsule just to see if it will rebuild Zero, and it does. But Zero is still just a bike. He doesn't have his personality. He can't talk because we know the memory unit is missing.
I thought it was awesome that like I was irritated that they could just magically bring the bike back.
Oh, I was so mad for the couple seconds before he couldn't talk. Yeah.
Yeah, because I expected like from all the dumb things that we hand wave away and big things that happen that don't really make a difference 5 minutes down the road. I was stoked that like, okay, I can accept the metal bike being put back together. But since like they stole Zero's brain chip or whatever, we're not just gonna like magically be like, oh, Zero's back too. He's gonna talk to me. We're gonna do things. So at least they took care of most of that problem.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when the bike started like reforming itself, I definitely said out loud, like, "Are you kidding me?" And then they, of course, didn't quite go all the way, which I was happy about. Baku goes into the dream world, and similarly, the bike won't start without the memory unit in it, but he ends up using the Zeroider capsum to start up the bike. and he thinks back to what Baku said, or sorry, what Zero had said about always having to move forward. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to go solve the case and take down the nightmare. Baku like very quickly here now like gets to the bottom of things essentially. Like we just sort of skip through this in like 2 seconds. But Baku finds the nightmare's door, peers inside, sees Nem, sees the dam, heads to the dam, all in the span of about 20 seconds maybe.
Yeah, we've hit the part of like the Gav joke last season of the things like, oh, we need 100 Gochizos to do this. And I made the joke of like, oh, we're just gonna like hand wave it away going forward because it's kind of stupid to keep doing. And at this point, we're at the same like spiritual side of Baku where he knows how to do most of the things. So we're just gonna skip all like the little pre-build stuff that he does before he gets to do the fights. Yep. Now he's just like, oh, I found the door. Let's look through. I'll see you there. Kind of deal.
Exactly. He's like a speedrunner who's like playing the first level again. He's like, yeah, we know how all this goes. I'm just gonna do all the tricks and we'll get through it very fast. We'll get to the
I'm gonna press start, hit A, I'm gonna skip this cutscene, and we're just gonna go.
I'm just gonna hold right and then the Barney game's gonna play itself. It's great.
Oh yeah, it's a great game.
Which you played at like 5 in the morning.
1:30 this morning. Yeah, this morning.
Even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, this morning I didn't sleep, or I was having a horrible time sleeping. So as a fun aside, I decided to play lots and lots of shitty children's old like Nintendo games and SNES games and stuff. So this morning at like 1:30 to 2:30 in the morning, I beat Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, Sesame Street ABC, Sesame Street Cookie Counting Carnival, Barney's Hide and Seek, and Big Bird's Egg Catch. I had a big day.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's great when it's like 8 a.m. and you're sending me a screenshot of you having beaten like 7 different kids' games that day.
I had a big day today.
Things are going great. Yeah. Quite the day for Toby. Over at the dam, speaking of big days, Baku shows up and encounters Nox. And this is kind of the confrontation we were talking about before. Baku says, why are you continuing your mission? Of course, your commander's gone. And it says, if Baku is serving code, then Nox can take him down. And then Baku kind of gives his sort of thesis statement now that he is a little at odds with code, and says that he's not doing it for code. He's doing it to, quote, save a regretful dreamer and to fulfill his promise to Nem. Which, yeah, like helping the people and helping Nem have been the two main things that have been driving him. So that's him sort of like hitting that resolve. The two of them do battle.
Oh, and as part of that conversation too, or somewhere mixed in here, I forget the timeline of it, Nox drops the best line in any of these shows ever, where he tells Baku, you have an astonishing lack of self-preservation. And just like with how dryly Nox says things, I thought it was just like the most amazing like burn or like respect towards Baku. Where he just like flat out says like, yeah, you're too dumb for your own good, basically.
Yeah, that whole exchange is awesome. So like they battle. Baku is forced to dehension, and then he's beaten up. He's not, he's in human form, and he's like stands up real slow, and then he's just like, I'm not finished. And then that's when Nox tells him he has an astonishing lack of self-preservation, which is great. It's like so perfect for both of their personalities. And yeah, again, a good example of Baku, of Nox. He could get the upper hand. He could defeat Baku here probably. He's kind of a sitting duck, but clearly that's not his goal. And he has some respect for Baku.
But the one last little like crazy thing about that, when they're fighting on the bridge next to the dam, all I could think of was, I know it's just a one-on-one fight, but they were fighting on a bridge next to a dam, and the walls on the side weren't that high. And in my stomach, I was like, this seems actually terrifying to be fucking around up here for a TV show and not worrying about falling over or doing fighty things next to perilous railings and all sorts of craziness.
They're at that dam quite a bit throughout the various shows over the years. I think it's the same dam, I would assume. And I think it's in one of the early episodes, maybe in the first episode of the Spider-Man Sentai, the Spider-Man show. And if I remember right, in those scenes, they even have the enemies like jumping over the side of the dam, like over the railing. which is crazy, right? Because it's just a fall. uh,
Not
and maybe Spider-Man even like knocks him over the railing too, back when he's beating him up. But yeah, they certainly are no strangers to putting people up there and filming them. Baku tracks down the Nightmare. The Nightmare tells him that Nem is already digested, but they fight. He kicks the Nightmare, and finally Nem pops out. I thought it was very cute. She apologizes to Baku for not fighting back because she couldn't. She was cast as the kidnap victim here.
Yeah, that was absurd, and that was hilarious and dumb and all the best stuff.
Yeah.
But my favorite part about like him getting them back is he basically roundhoused the wolf in the back of the head, and she just kind of like shot out of his mouth. Like he
Yeah.
didn't kick him in the stomach, and like he didn't like throw her back up, but he got kicked in the back of the head and basically like coughed up Nem.
It was a great visual for sure. Yeah, she just shoots out. Baku tells her that he will save her every time whenever someone, has a bad dream about her, and he'll do it until he finds her in the real life, which is cute. Nox shows up here at this moment and shoots the Nightmare, and then eventually takes the Nightmare down very quickly. Baku says, I thought you guys were working together, you and the Nightmare. And that's when Nox tells us that nightmares are simply tools, nothing more.
And again, like to wrap it all the way back to the beginning, he just, like I said, he just seems tired of all of it. Like
Yeah.
all this extra bullshit in his life, he just seems like he wants nothing to do with. Like it goes to why he never really like attacks Baku. This time he literally saved them from a monster again and was just like, no, he was just here. We're good. But I still don't like you. I know what you're up to kind of deal.
He kind of like seems like a guy, and maybe I'm like reading into it too far, but he kind of is reading like a guy who like had a strong ideal that he wanted to achieve, but then has like slowly been sacrificing his morals to get there the whole time, and like it's just like chipping away at him, kind of, right? Like, sure, I guess I'll work with this woman, because it aligns with my goals, and it's like, all right, whatever. Like, I guess I'll do this thing. I guess I'll do this thing.
Well, now that you
And yeah,
worded it that way,
he seems so tired of it all.
now that you worded it that way, that just means that Nox basically zigged where Baku zagged, and Baku is like, no. I'm not just going to like blindly follow your orders. I'm still going to do the right thing. And Nox seems like he went the other way where he listened too much, and then it all went downhill from there. And that's why he's extra mad at his new reality.
Yeah. I mean that could definitely be part of it, right? Like
he's the free Baku's the free boy that Nox wanted to be when he wanted to be an agent.
yeah,
I guess is my thesis statement.
Exactly. Yeah. When the Nightmare dies, the butterfly comes out of the Nightmare, and the butterfly flies away and returns to the lady. And we get to see the lady is sitting at the bedside of Nem. We find out during that scene that the plan was basically to lure Zero out in the open using Nem as bait. Nox calls it risky, but it worked out for her. And then she basically tells Nem that they're going to make her bad dreams come true. So I guess confirmation from the earlier scene that yes, the lady does have Nem physically in person.
Poor little Nem. 4-year coma. Still going strong.
Yep. Then our episode finishes out with a couple crazy things happening. So Baku is kind of like looking on, kind of spying on the Nurse Haru, hoping she, has good dreams from now on. She looks happy. Baku's about to leave, but he feels kind of like dizzy a little bit, almost falls down. And suddenly a woman shows up to catch him, and it is the lady.
It was a very nice doctor back at the hospital.
Yep. She asks him if he's getting enough sleep, and she hands over her business card. She is apparently a psychologist named Sayuri Ando, even though we know that it's actually the lady.
I think I thought the "Are you getting enough sleep?" was hilarious as just like a little like dumb wink to, I guess, more so us the people than the show. Like it was just a funny dumb way to do that.
Yeah, it was great. That was a wonderful line. Baku is like taken aback by this interaction, right? He like has no idea what to think, and kind of like ends up watching her leave. And as she's walking away, he gets a call on his little spy phone. He's excited because he thinks it's going to be Zero. But the voice is not Zero, but it is a new mission. Then we get a scene of a figure, and the figure is slowly revealed sitting at a desk. The first thing that we see is they have a ring on that says 3, and then went out to see the full person, and clearly it is intended to be code number 3, to go with, Baku's code number 7, and Nox was code number
4.
4. Yeah, I think he was 4, right? So yeah, we're now having 3 introduced.
I feel like, again, we made that comment that was going to be a thing at some point these past couple weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I think you only leave the gaps so that you can introduce the people from the gaps, right? in the numbering. It has to be. So I took this as like number 3 is the new Zero figure. Like he's going to be the new boss. Is that how you read this as well?
I think maybe, like, at least for specifically because of the No Zero robot thing, yes. I'm now curious if all 7. I know we saw one of the numbers in, I guess Nox's 4 was in Zero's desk. Too many freaking numbers.
Yeah.
I feel like all the other numbers are still going to be alive, and it's going to be like a work your way up the evil boss to get to the finale. Like 3 seems like the boss now, but that's only because 2's also up in charge of that shit right now, and possibly 1's still there and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I could totally see that being the case, that we're counting down 3, 2, 1 to kind of finish the show out, I guess. Yeah, so like we've completed level 1, now we're moving on to whoever this guy is. It's interesting that he, it'll be interesting to find out more about this code number 3 guy. Because clearly, like, sitting at the big desk, they're wanting us to think that he's kind of in charge. He seemingly is like a code agent still, but that means that Zero lied about Baku being the only agent, right? So that'll be interesting to figure out that whole relationship.
Yeah, I guess it's either that or if they rank up as they go. Like, Baku is the only agent because, wink, wink, the old agents are now like supervisors or master planners or whatever else.
I can see that being true. Yeah. Okay. That would be a reasonable explanation, I guess, for that statement.
It's a good hand wavy serve to be like, oh no, I said there was 1 agent because it's true, but there's still like all 7 of us are still running around up here in their actual base.
Yeah. I did see someone on Twitter say that this actor is also an actor who looks half his age. So I think much like Nox, he's a person who is actually older than he appears, because he appears to be very young, but I think he's actually an older person. So just to put that out there for you before we get to the next episode.
Yep.
Let's jump over and look at emails, Toby. cast@commonwritersucks.com is the email address if you want to send something in to get it read on the show. If you want to tell us something. Once again, cast@commonwritersucks.com. We got one email this week coming in from our friend Shade. And Shade, first of all, sends us some great pictures from the case file for episode 17, featuring the destroyed parts of Zero. Some nice detailed shots of people investigating. Some good shots of Baku getting direction and then kind of standing out on the dam as well. So some really great photography from this episode. According to the blog, Shade tells us the reason why Baku dehenchened in the scene with Nox was not because he was defeated, but because he had reached Plasma's limit. So Plasma glitched out, and that forced him to dehension. So in case you were worried that Baku got defeated, that's not what happened there. Yeah, and then there's a good shot of the new agent code number 3. And apparently Nazca's actress celebrated her birthday during the filming of this episode. So happy late birthday to Nazca. Shade says there weren't a lot of trivia or fun facts in case 17. For some reason, the photographer really went off this time around. There's like 30 photos in the blog, and half of them are just cool shots of Baku and the Kamen Rider suits. But hey, now we have a lot more time to talk about other news and tidbits. The first news for today, I remember last time we briefly talked about producer Shirakura's plan for Kamen Rider's 55th anniversary, and it includes some more standalone Kamen Rider films in the future. Well, it could be coming sooner than we'd think. So basically, there's a countdown website that went up on the Kamen Rider official website. The URL is /KR movie project, and the countdown is basically like 2 weeks from now, like 14 days from now. So it's one of the most annoying modern things in marketing, the countdown to an announcement.
Yeah, it's
but
the
that seems
announcement for
like
the announcement. That's what we gotta do.
it's how you milk one more set of eyeballs out of a single piece of media. But anywho, yeah, apparently around January 26th we're gonna get news on what this Kamen Rider movie project is. Shade says, if I had a nickel for every time a superhero movie announcement from this year involves a dramatic looking countdown timer, then I'd have 2 nickels, which is pretty neat, I guess. Avengers Doomsday is also doing the countdown timer thing, by the way, if you didn't know. All jokes aside, I'm pretty excited for this. Although one thing I'm super curious about is whether they're rebooting another Showa Rider, like they did with Shin Kamen Rider, or if they're creating a brand new Kamen Rider for the movie. Which would you prefer, Toby?
I think a brand new Kamen Rider.
Me too.
Because if it's
yeah,
because I mean, like, I don't keep keep track of a ton of the stuff otherwise. So bringing back old things I already don't get, and as a new thing doesn't really do it for me. But if we can get like a brand new thing and a cool guy or a cool girl in the Kamen Rider suit, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, Shin Kamen Rider is a fantastic movie, but I think probably is most targeted at people who would have some nostalgia for that era of Kamen Rider, right? Which isn't true for 99% of people outside of Japan who might be watching a movie like that. So, like, again, like with Zeztz, like starting someone on a clean slate, this is a new character for the movie, you're getting in on the ground floor, is a pretty exciting idea, and seeing what they would do with maybe a bigger budget or maybe a looser rating system or whatever. I think that it could be cool seeing an original Kamen Rider in this. Shade says, next up we have an announcement of another high-profile indie project on the way. It's called Mobile Night Police, MKP for short, and it's made by the 2 actors who portrayed the protagonists of the Metal Hero series Special Rescue Police Winspector and Super Rescue Soulbrain. The project is a short film and a music video that takes a lot of inspiration from Winspector and Soulbrain, which makes this somewhat of an unofficial Metal Heroes project if you think about it. The 2 actors will play the lead and perform the theme songs for the short film. The song is called Don't Want to Regret. So this is awesome. It's like 2 actors who were in a thing years ago decide to get together, produce their own short film, and like make a band at the same time to sing these songs.
Hell yeah, it's the best way to do it.
It's like if Tobey Maguire was like, you know what was cool when I was Spider-Man? What if I make a man spider short and just film it on my own just for fun? And then what if I get that dude from Fall Out Boy to make a new Spider-Man song? Does that sound good? Yeah, I love that energy. Then the Shade tells us an update on the new Beat Runners tokusatsu project we've talked about before. It just premiered a week ago. I haven't seen anyone on the English side talk about it yet, so I don't know how the show has been doing. Then he links a small clip from the show and says, I can't really tell what the show is about because it hasn't been subbed yet, but judging from the clip, it does look pretty solid. The show is directed by veteran toku director Koichi Sakamoto, so it looks as good as you would expect. And yeah, I watched the clip, and obviously it's not subtitled, but it looks awesome. It's a fight scene in the whole clip, but each of the characters is like gun based essentially. So it's as if you took like a first person shooter or like a Fortnite or something, but dropped it into a tokusatsu. So this guy's like punching and kicking, and then randomly there's another member who's just sniping, like doing headshots for the enemies from far away. One person has like a giant Gatling gun at one point. It's kind of crazy seeing that happen, but
That
but
definitely
it's cool.
sounds nuts.
Yeah, and the suits look pretty cool, and the whole thing looks pretty. It looks as expensive as the Toei stuff does. So that, take that as high praise or low praise, however you want to, but it looks on par. We get a sneak peek of Gavan Infinity himself. They have announced the full press conference for Super Space Sheriff Gavan Infinity will be happening on January 18th, I think around 1 hour before the premiere of the new Zeztz episode on Shout. So once again, we get an announcement of a future announcement.
Those are the best.
Shade says that's it for the news and tidbits of the week. Lots of projects that are up and coming, and I'm excited for all of them. All right, I'll be on my way. Space Siobhan now. Bye-bye. Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing more of Space Sheriff Gavan and kind of getting a feel for what that show is going to be about. I've really liked the suits and stuff that we've seen so far. And yeah, I'm excited to figure out what this Kamen Rider movie stuff is about. So I guess I will know more in 2 weeks from now. All right, so that's our email section. Once again, cast@kamenridersucks.com is where you can send emails if you want to get them read on the show, like Shade did this week. And yeah, we also have a Patreon. Let's talk about the Patreon. Patreon.com/thecommentwriters is where you can find that. $3 a month gets you access to the Patreon. So first of all, you get Discord access there, and you can talk to us all week long. And you also get access to the bonus con put up, which is things like Watch and Reacts, where we watch through tokusatsu shows, and you watch along with us. You get to hear our thoughts and our jokes and our conversations along the way. Right now, we are watching through Dawn Brothers and Goes Yuger. In the past,
some would call
Kamen Rider X. Yeah, they are converging, one might say, those two shows in lots of ways. So yeah, if you like what we talk about with Kamen Rider here, and you want to hear more of our thoughts on Toku stuff, and just have some fun along the way, get into some Sentai, that kind of stuff, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And also you can follow it for free and get a little sampling of the first 3 episodes of everything that we've posted, all the shows we've posted. So if you want to check it out before you sign up, feel free. Once again, patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And with that, Toby, why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes, and on YouTube, it's Tobes Plays.
For me, I'm over on Blue Sky at meek.lol, and the show is also on Blue Sky at kamenridersucks.com. So that is going to do it for us for this week. Excuse me. We'll be back next time to talk about episode 18, and we do hope you join us for that. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great week, everybody. Peace.